Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Raggy Rog, and today I am bringing you another 5 fighters that we would like to see included in Smash. Now, we don't know at this time if there's ever going to be another Smash game made in the future, but as it stands, no more are coming to Ultimate, so we would like to make our list preemptively for any future Smash title. Please and thank you. The interesting thing about choosing fighters for Smash is that when it comes to a Smash roster, there's not really any wrong answer for characters that can be included. It more boils down to understanding that there is only a very finite number of spots available for new fighters, and there's like a million different characters that you could choose from. So these are going to be 5 more characters that I think are deserving of a spot and would probably offer quite a bit to Smash as a franchise. So without further ado, let's just get into it. The first fighter on this list today is going to be Alucard, like from Castlevania, that guy, right? So Alucard, you probably are aware, is already included in Smash as an assist trophy, and I'm going to say right now that if he were included as a playable character, as a fighter in Smash, he would probably operate, for the most part, very similarly to how he operates now as an assist trophy, with the change that he would probably include a few of the items that we all know and love from Castlevania. So he would operate much in his own way, but also kind of similarly to how Simon and Richter operate with the throwing boomerangs, the axes, and the holy water, except there are so many items that you can use in Castlevania. I feel like if Alucard were included with this playstyle, he would probably have completely unique items, something more akin to what you would see in Symphony of the Night. He would operate as a sword fighter, since he does technically have a sword, but I feel like unlike a lot of the sword fighters, he would not be terribly heavy on that as a playstyle. It would be very much, am I going to use the sword or not? It could be a whole thing where you can kind of just change his arsenal similar to Min Min, where you can change the type of weapon that he just has equipped, and then he'll fight very differently. This is just speculative, and I'm just throwing ideas out there. Alucard may just never be a fighter, and that would be a horrible thing to happen because he's really cool, and it would give a lot of well-deserved representation to Castlevania. Castlevania does finally have decent representation with 2 fighters, Simon and Richter, but the problem is that they are identical mechanically, and there's been a lot to see in Castlevania over the years. Another thing too is that if you do want to actually add more characters for a sense of diversity in Smash, then you've literally got the choice of Alucard or like 12 different Belmonts. So do you want like Trevor Belmont and David Belmont and whoever else? I don't know if David's a real character, but the point is you have the choice of like 12 near identical characters or Alucard. So it seems obvious to me that if we have to give more representation to Castlevania, Alucard is just here. Next on this list, we are going to be choosing Dr. Eggman, that is Robotnik from the Sonic series. Now, Sonic has been a part of Smash since Brawl, and it looks like he's here to stay. He's got his niche, he fits in pretty well, he's a good character, but ever since Sonic has been included in Smash, there has been high demand for more Sonic characters, of which we have never seen included outside of being an assist trophy. So those assist trophies include Shadow the Hedgehog, and now Knuckles the Echidna, and they are a welcome sight in Smash, but everyone is pining for more playable characters from the Sonic franchise. But I'm gonna do like the unexpected thing here, and I'm actually going to say Eggman should actually be in this game. Not only does it give more representation to the Sonic franchise in Smash, but it also gives the villain side of things a bit of representation. Another thing about it too is that while you've got characters like Shadow and Knuckles and Tails and whoever else who may have very unique playstyles in their own right, they're still generally the same size and shape and everything as Sonic, and as we all know, once we get involved in the meta, a character's weight and size and everything has actually quite a lot of impact. So if you want a character to use from the Sonic franchise who is very different from Sonic, because say Sonic isn't your cup of tea as a fighter, you love Sonic but you don't like playing as him, giving us the option to play as like Shadow the Hedgehog is probably not going to make things any better for us. But then if you give us Eggman, you could have a character who operates quite similar to, say, Bowser Jr., where Eggman would not walk around on his own two legs. He would actually drive around in the Eggomatic. And his entire move pool could be inspired from boss fights where he uses the Eggomatic. So you've got the giant swingy ball, you've got the drill, you've got propellers, you've got rockets, you've got lasers. There's a lot of stuff that Eggman could do. And on top of that, he could actually have some pretty cool ults where we might just end up with the version of Eggman that we see in the games today, but we could also just scroll through like 8 different versions of Eggman. You could have the one from Sonic 06, you could have the one from the Sonic Boom series, you could have the one, just that all of the different Eggmans. There's a lot of them, so, you know, food for thought. What do you think? Next on this list, I have gone ahead and chosen Octoling. So yeah, like Octolings from Splatoon. So my rationale for choosing Octoling is that similar to Inkling, what we're not really dealing with is a character so much as it is a player character inspired as a unique character. The reason I've chosen Octoling in particular is because while Inkling is a great addition to Smash, adding Octoling as well, which is kind of like the rival creature to the Inkling, it serves to broaden the representation a lot, because Inkling gave a lot of representation because we had 8 very unique color ults, and it did its job very well. If we got 8 different ults for Octoling, it would be the most colorfully represented franchise in all of Smash history, with only 2 playable fighters. On top of that, the weapons and the overall arsenal that we see Inkling use in Smash, while it does serve a great purpose in demonstrating the diversity in the Inkling's typical arsenal, you could just expand on that with Octoling, because there are a lot of items and weapons and things still not seen in Smash that are present in Splatoon. So Octoling could just serve to fill that niche. If nothing else, it's just filling another fighter slot and doing it in style. So let me know what you think of that as well. The 4th one on this list today is actually going to be Wolf Link and Midna. Now, I understand that this idea is kind of niche. Not everyone was crazy about Twilight Princess. Some people loved it. It's mixed reviews. The point is that Zelda, while it is not pining for new representation in Smash, I feel like Wolf Link and Midna as a pair would serve to offer a lot to the franchise. You wouldn't not get a completely unique play style. Initially, I thought about Duck Hunt because, like, okay, so it's a dog with a mount, essentially, or it's a dog as a mount. It's a pair, including a dog, right? Like, I don't know. It's like, that's what I thought of. But in the case of Wolf Link, I just imagined him working in tandem with Midna. So his recovery could literally just be like Midna's like weird ethereal hand, like just coming up and like reaching and grabbing, and then that'd be like really cool for like latching onto the edge of the stage. And all of his throws could be Midna just doing that, like just grabbing the opponent and like tossing them up or to the side, punching them into the ground. And then Wolf Link himself would just have a completely unique moveset as well. It'd include the digging, it would include the bashing, the head charging, all of this stuff that we saw Link do in Twilight Princess that has pretty much never been seen ever since. Except maybe in like Breath of the Wild when you summon him as like with an amiibo. Maybe it's just my favoritism because Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game, but I feel like it would offer a lot to Smash in terms of diversity and more player choice, and it would certainly please a lot of people because I understand that while maybe Wolf Link isn't on a lot of people's lists, I know that Midna is desperately wanted by some people to be in Smash because probably of all of the sidekick characters we've ever seen in the Zelda series, you've got Fi, you've got Navi, Midna is unassailably the most loved, if only because she is the least annoying, which is kind of weird to think about because she kind of orders you around just as much as the rest of them, if not more, and more condescending, but people like her, so there you go. Lastly on this list today, and I think a lot of people are going to agree with this one, I have actually chosen from Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong. Now, as I understand, Donkey Kong Country 3, is it 2 or 3? I'm not sure. But Donkey Kong Country 3 is a lot of people's favorite Donkey Kong game. Now, in this game, you played as either Diddy Kong or Dixie, and Diddy is already in Smash and has been since, like, Brawl, pretty much. So, giving us Dixie on top of that would probably please a lot of people. Donkey Kong also, considering it has been just a staple of the Smash series since, like, day one, it's hard to get your head around the fact that there are so many characters in Donkey Kong, and yet still so few in Smash. Most recently, we got King K. Rool, but we didn't get any new character in Smash 4, and there's still, like, to this day, there's only 3 playable characters. They are all very different, they operate very differently, and I feel like Dixie Kong would be the exact same. She would be totally different. She'd be the same because she would be different. It's weird to think about. Personally, for me, I don't actually care too much about Dixie. Donkey Kong was not a game that I played growing up. I was actually a Sega kid, so Donkey Kong was not a game that I played at all. But I know and respect that this was a lot of people's favorite game, and surely if you loved playing as Diddy in that game, you probably loved playing as Dixie as well. So if for no other reason, if just to get that nostalgia going for some people, to pay homage to that, I think Dixie has earned her place in Smash. She is currently included, I believe, only as a spirit, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we can do a little better than that. In any case, everybody, these have been my 5 choices for more characters that I think we would like to see in Smash. And if you agree, then definitely comment down below what you think and what characters you would like to see. If I'm wrong, if I've said anything wrong, then I'm very, very sorry. But this is just what I believe, is what I think. I don't necessarily think that they will be here. I don't necessarily think that they won't not be here. It's just who I think should be here. So definitely, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more like it, give the video a like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon as well so you can get future updates anytime I make an upload. In any case, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time, Ragamuffins. Have a good one!